Hey, welcome back to 1LiterADV. My name is Yev. This was a very special ride for me because it was the last ride before installing a booster plug on my Suzuki Vstrom 1000. Let me show you how the installation works. Hey, so at 1LiterADV, we don't really like making super long videos that are boring. However, sometimes you just can't skip important content. So if you already know how to take everything off your V-Strom, how to get to the Airbox, this is the part where you skip forward. If you don't, stick with me, I'll show you how it's done. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to take each part off one side. I'm not gonna film the other side, but obviously it's the same process, so just follow that step and you'll be fine. Now the next thing we need to do is go ahead and take off all the plastic components that are in your way. First step is this plastic piece here. It's got a bolt up here and 2 bolts down there. Now with the total of 3 bolts removed, got their 4mm and a 5mm up on top, you take this entire white part and kind of grab it and move it forward towards the front of the bike. There are actually little clips, little hooks that hook into the plastic shroudings here. Now the next process requires you to remove a series of clips. They look like this. I don't know what they're called, I just call them push clips. But basically there's a little button in the middle, you push it in and that releases the bottom part, which allows you to pull the clip out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the opposite side that we're gonna take out first. Again, you're just pushing on the center, you feel it go in, do the same thing with the other one. What that does is it allows you to pull the clip out. Now, if you need to, you can kind of pry the clip out with a flathead screwdriver if it kind of gets stuck in there. There you have it. By the way, you can buy these on Amazon or eBay. Get a whole bag of them. Finally, when you have all the 4 clips removed, take your 5mm Allen key and remove this bolt back here that holds this plastic piece onto the tank. That bolt gone. Now you're going to pull up on this carefully. There are clips underneath, that's why it popped up like that. And now you have access to the tank. Now we have this piece to remove on both sides. There's 3 bolts. You have a 5mm bolt right here. There's a 4mm Allen key bolt here and a 4mm Allen key bolt right there. You can grab this carefully and pull it forward again and out. I've got some crash bars that are in my way, but they're fine. You just kind of work around them. Again, I'm pulling forward towards the front of the bike, carefully. And it's out. Now you get to remove this plastic piece. There's one on each side, of course, so it doesn't come off all the way because it is one long extended piece. But you're gonna need a 4mm Allen key for these 2 bolts right here. There's a rubber clip behind here that attaches to the tank. You'll just pull that off. And now your tank is completely exposed on one side. We'll do the same thing on the other side, of course. Now we're at the point where we need to take the actual tank off because we got to it. This here is a 12mm socket key. You'll want to loosen that up. Quick little word of advice. I don't know if this is actually true or not, but this little piece here that I just pulled out can be also used as a tank prop. For instance, if I lift the tank like that, you can prop the tank up, I believe, like that. Probably can go either way here. All right, now that the back of the tank is kind of free, the front of the tank needs to be released as well. On the front, there's a little bolt, a long bolt that goes through this frame piece here. Each side, one side is a nut, this is a bolt head. They're both 10mm sockets. So, got a ratchet on one end, and I'm just gonna go ahead and hold the other end with a wrench and go ahead and loosen that until I can get the nut off the other side. Sometimes when you do maintenance on the bike, you know, maybe you're tucking wires in or doing something else, you don't have to take the tank off all the way, which is why this bolt here allows you to pivot the tank. However, in our case, we do have to take the tank off, so that's kind of why we have to take this bolt out. So I've got the nut and this long bolt. I'm going to carefully pull out that bolt. Now this whole front end is free. The front of the tank is free. Set that bolt aside. Okay, in order to take the tank all the way off, you need to disconnect three things. This tube here, this rubber tube right here, this tube right behind it, and finally your fuel connector, which is right there. I went ahead and previously put tape on one of the tube connectors because they look very similar. One goes on the right, one on the left. The one with tape for me is on the right side, so you do whatever's best for you. But I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that. If you're lucky, your motorcycle will also have an iPhone in there. Just kidding, I just wanted a light. All right, got both tubes out. The way the fuel connector works, you need to grab on both sides of this tab and pull down, and that releases this mechanism to be able to slide off this metal U or L-shaped pipe that goes into the tank. This is probably a good time to go grab a rag and place underneath because you're gonna have a little bit of fuel probably leak out of that line. I've got a bunch of old socks that my wife won't let me wear anymore, so I'm gonna place them under there. What we're gonna do is pull that green clip down. Don't pull it all the way out, just pull it down and then carefully slide out your connector. It's gonna leak some fuel out, so that's why your sock is there. Last but not least, you want to disconnect the fuel pump, which is this switch right here. There you go. Now your tank is free to go. This is a good time to have a friend nearby because depending on when you last fueled up, your tank might weigh quite a bit. The way this tank comes off is you want to grab it on the back here. And if you have the time, you can look into both of these ends and you'll see that the tank rests with these on these rubber grommets coming out of the frame. So you'll just want to lift and pull the tank backwards like that. Let's see if I can do it from the first try. There's one step that's optional, and that is to take this top cover off of the airbox. Again, it's optional because the plug you're going to need is actually on the outside of the box. So go ahead and skip forward. Otherwise, if you're interested, here's how you take it off. All right, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Phillips screws. I'm just going to remove those. If you haven't done so recently, this would be a good opportunity to change your air filter because as you can see, getting into it is not the easiest thing in the world. Be careful, there is a rubber gasket on the lid that creates an airtight seal. Mine wanted to fall out here, so I'm just going to tuck it back into its groove. And finally here we have the actual plug that we're going to use. It's this little guy right here. It is what's supposedly called the AIT sensor. And what you're going to do is you're going to unplug it and plug in the booster plug instead and loop it back into the box. I'll show you how to do that right now. So go ahead and unplug it. There's a little clip right here. Just push in, pull out carefully. Here's your booster plug. First thing you'll notice is that the booster plug has well, it looks like a male connector. It looks exactly like that. That means this male connector goes into the airbox plug. Push it in all the way till it clicks. And then you'll take your Suzuki male connector, take your booster plug female connector. Actually, you know what, female, male, I have no idea. You get the point. Plug that in like that. Make sure it clicks. Now technically your bike has been booster plugged. The actual sensor is probably about 24 inches long, maybe 20 inches long. And the idea is that you can route it to a suitable location. Booster plug kind of has two general suggestions. Location number one would be kind of hidden behind the steering column, and another location they mentioned is underneath the headlight. Well, I will say that getting to the headlight may be a bit of a challenge with the length of this wire. So you just need to put it in an area where the ambient temperature remains the same and isn't too much affected by the engine heat. All right, so here's kind of what I did. Ignore the socks. Here is the booster plug. That's the actual unit itself. I've got it zip tied to right over here. This is the fuel line that goes to both of the cylinders. It doesn't move a whole lot, so I figured I'd zip tie it there. Next, follow it down over here. It's zip tied to, I believe there's a cable line that runs here from the throttle, maybe something else. And then it goes between the airbox and the frame. And then it goes into the frame, comes out underneath the frame over here. And then it comes up, and over here we have some lines. What those are you got your brake line from your handlebars, a couple of other cables, probably, and maybe an ABS line too. What I've done is I've zip tied them over here. And if we look, we'll see a little guy over here. That is the booster plug sensor.
Hey, thanks for watching the video, and let us know down in the comments what you think about the booster plug. Has it helped your bike or maybe made things worse? Either way, we'd love to have your feedback. We'll see you all in the next video.